Paul asks rhetorically, how can they believe in the one of whom they have not heard? And how can they hear without someone preaching to them? Even if we exclude those who have read about Jesus, there are many left who will never come across the good news during their life. I envy Abraham, who was able to bargain with God about saving lives in Sodom. Like him, I'd like to ask questions of God. But what if someone believes in the love and holiness of God but doesn't know about Jesus? Or what if they love what they know about Jesus but don't realize that he is God? Also, like Abraham, I'd want to repeat the question he asked him. Will not the judge of all the earth do right? We shouldn't expect to find any answers to this question in the Bible. After all, it is written for people who are able to read it. So why should it tell us about those who can't read it? Its purpose is to address those who can read it, who are reading it. However, there are a couple of clues. Cornelius said, I was in my house praying. Suddenly, a man in shining clothes stood before me and said, Cornelius, God has heard your prayer and remembered your gifts to the poor. The detail that jumps out to me is that God listens to the prayers of those who aren't Christians. Cornelius was a pre-Christian believer until the Holy Spirit fell on him. And this story shows that this category of people still continued to exist after Jesus' death. God still listens to the prayers of those who don't know or understand about Jesus. The second insight comes in Hebrews, when it defines faith. It starts by stating the minimum number of things we have to believe to please God. And there's only two. They are that God exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. Without faith, it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. This isn't telling us how someone will be saved and how they'll receive the Holy Spirit. It's merely the pre-Christian or Old Testament faith. And these two items of faith are so minimal that they're worth our close consideration. To believe that he exists is a major matter today, but when this was written, there were very few atheists, if any. So the fact that this is mentioned implies that the author really wants to give a full statement of what is required. The other item of faith, that he rewards those who earnestly seek him, doesn't describe those good people who think they deserve heaven because they believe they aren't as bad as others they could mention. Hebrews describes people who are seeking God, and they are presumably all too aware of their shortcomings. This means as soon as they realize Jesus was sent by God, they will become a Christian. We shouldn't expect to find anything about such individuals in the Bible. If you have a Bible, you aren't going to be in this category. So we're left with questions we can't answer, such as when or how are their sins forgiven? When will they hear of Jesus? These believers are missing out in this life. They would long to find Jesus and be filled with the Holy Spirit. However, they're not despised or refused by God. Hebrews says they please God. That's a considerable achievement. And if I can achieve even that accolade in this life, I'll be well satisfied. God bless.